We are in a little bit of an improvised video as we're going to talk about the trend that we will not do anymore in 2025 in terms of fragrances. This is Clemence, I talk about fragrance, welcome back. Right, just a little disclaimer before the things that I'm going to talk about today, some might be a little bit controversial, not really pleasant to hear for some of you. If you have a different opinion of mine, please, it's fine. Express yourself, I love it, but keep it cordial. Healthy debates, nothing rude, because you will be out of this channel forever, unfortunately, if you do that. So the first fragrance trend that has been there now since quite a few years in the fragrance industry, actually since I started my fragrance channel, people were already talking about this. It's like growing crazier and crazier, I feel, is the beast mode trend. And this is really something that I like to talk about because, as you know, for example, me, I love like a strong fragrance, and you might know this video where I put a lot of fragrance, and yes, indeed, I like to spray a lot. Usually the fragrances that are categorized as beast mode fragrance are not something really delicate, very nice in the composition. Usually a fragrance that focuses too much on this is a little bit harsh, and we will talk about this after. As a creator, you cannot imagine how many messages and DMs I receive from guys, it's mainly guys, asking me, give me a beast fragrance. Like, oh, they will say, give me a woody fragrance that is beast. That is it. I'm trying to elaborate, I'm trying to see what are they looking for. You have to discuss with the person, you have to know what they're looking for, what they like, you know, and a woody that is strong, it's just not enough for me. And actually when people ask me that, I am a little bit sad. This is it for you, fragrance? That's what you want, you know, and no shade, if that's what you like in the fragrance thing, good for you, but I always find it so sad, like, you know, because me, I love fragrance since I'm a kid, for the passion, the refinement, how is it built, the inspiration behind, you know, like how it smells, the delicacy, the balance of ingredients, how you make the olfactive pairing, you know, like I'm a fragrance nerd, you know, and when people are just reducing fragrances beast mode, and that's it. This is so sad. Of course, as you know, like I like my fragrance, especially if I pay some money about it, I like my fragrance to have a great trail and a great projection and stay long on masking, of course. But for me, that is in the category of bonuses. For me, the most important is how the fragrance is built. What does it bring? How the ingredients smell? Does it smell a bit natural as well? Does it have density? Is it layers? Is it rich? What does it make me think of? What's the inspiration? Oh my God, there's so many things to talk about. And when I see just like, oh, does it last? And this is the only question that people ask me. And please don't be scared to ask that question. But it's just when it's just that, I'm just a bit. Wow. 2025, we stop harsh perfume. There's a lot of fragrance brands that are blossoming now that are making fragrances that you know it's not for the passion and it's more for the money. And fair enough, you do a fragrance brand, you want to have money, of course. For example, they will launch fragrances in a rate that is crazy. That is weird. It's exactly like when I see a menu in a restaurant and there's like 15 pages. That is strange to me. If you launch fragrance like this, like crazy, for me, that's a bit strange, you know? Already I have a red flag in my head. Sometimes it can be a mistake, but most of the time I have a red flag in my head. And harsh fragrance, explaining myself, is usually you can smell in those mass-produced fragrances that and not even mass-produced, because, you know, like a Dior or a Chanel, they're mass-produced, but it does smell nice, it doesn't feel harsh. But like, for example, this brand will feel heavily synthetic, usually or beast mode, usually goes together. They're very strong, they're on nuclear bomb, but it's a nuclear bomb that is not nice. There's no really balance, it's all synthetic. You can tell straight away there's no natural, beautiful, the qualitative ingredient that gives a little bit of refinement and a lot of layers and depth to the fragrance. I can give you an example. I think it's not going to please everyone for me to give that example. I'm not going to say I hate them. I'm not going to say I don't advise you to get them, because for me, like, there's one that I like in the one or two that I like in the collection, the Supert's fragrance. And I'm not saying don't buy them, because he's a Hungarian brand, and actually my boyfriend is Hungarian, and I would love to be more supportive to a Hungarian brand, and that's why I'm not telling you they're bad. I'm not telling you that. I think it's just not my vibe. The fragrance feels really harsh synthetic, and that's just, you know, you compare that to any, I don't know, take a florist, Le Jardin Retrouvé fragrances. You can tell, like, even like a matière première. Compare these fragrances in terms of composition and just the actual smell. I think you don't need a diploma to smell that. You can tell that this is heavily synthetic, meant to be bismuth. And for me, there's improvement to do on that. But after, if it's the style of the brand, who am I to say anything? Fragrances in Super, for example, that I like Memories Gold, ambery vanilla, quite strong, warm, that I like. I never wear it because I have other vanilla that feels a little bit more refined, more delicate, more qualitative, or whatever, you know, it is, or more balanced, you know. Flamingo Films that I really like as well for summer. But again, I always feel I need to layer it with something to give it a bit of layers, and I feel like I smell too synthetic when I'm wearing them. So it's actually a nice vanilla, but again, I feel a powdery, very powdery sillage, a lack of layers and lack of balance in the fragrance. Like with the vanilla, like I would expect like a lot of notes, papillon. I cannot smell that, for example. With the Hansa Smash that is inspired by one of UFC player. Not a fan of UFC. It's very harsh to my nose. I don't know. I wanted to do a full review this year of Superts, but I don't think I'm the good person to advise them to you, because it just doesn't match my vibe. Like, me and my boyfriend, we really wanted to support the brand, but I felt that it was more like a business. You know, I know every fragrance brand is a business, but I thought it was really more like a business. Like, we're here to do money rather than to make beautiful fragrance and treat them nice. Like, of course, like, there's a lot of fragrance that have a little bit of a harsh scent. For me, like Montal, for example, is a great example of it. Most of them, I find them very harsh, especially it's very expensive. And you know, Superts is quite expensive as well. Lorenzo Pasaglia, but Lorenzo Pasaglia, I think is that's the vibe as well, like heavily synthetic notes to me. But Lorenzo Pasaglia, there's a lot that I really love. So, you know, there could be some exception. I'm not globalizing, but you know, like, I'm getting away from this because that's not the perfumery I want to share. Another perfume trend that we're not going to do in 2025, perfumes on hair. A few days ago, I think weeks ago, one of you sent me on Instagram a video of Olivier Cresp advising to put fragrances on hair. No shade, Olivier is one of the most skillful and talented perfumer of all time to me. One of the perfumers I love the most, and for meeting the guy, he's down to earth, he's very fun. But Olivier, please, no fragrance on the hair. He says that when you move your hair, you're gonna smell the fragrance, and the hair basically is great to hold the fragrance for a longer time. And that's very true. You put the fragrance in your hair and you're going to increase your sillage. It's going to really hold the fragrance much more longer than it could be on anywhere that you will put your fragrance. I don't know much. I'm not a genius, that's for sure. But, you know, I have a diploma in cosmetology and perfumery. And the first year of my diploma, it was in 3 years. The first year of my diploma, the first thing that we learn in cosmetology is that you shouldn't put alcohol in sensitive zone, and sensitive zone is hair as well. They might be very strong, mine are very tough, very strong, they're very thick, but not everyone is like this. This kind of chemicals, because the composition of a fragrance is like this, so you have fragrances that are fully, if it's water-based fragrance, put it on the hair. Of Of course, many times when I spray, because my hair is super long, I forgot to do that, and then some are getting in the hair, or sometimes even I'm going out and I'll be like, okay, you know, let's put it a bit on the hair, it's so nice. Then yes, from time to time, but don't do that every day. This is gonna damage your hair. And I heard some people saying as well that putting fragrance on the hair can help oily hair to be less oily and more balanced. This is the biggest, sorry, no, do not believe that, no. You know, it's exactly like I would put on my oily skin some alcohol to make it more dry. This is a really bad idea. You're gonna burn yourself. Rather use hair fragrances, even though most of hair fragrances does have a level of alcohol. It depends which hair fragrances you go for, but most of the niche fragrance brands that are doing hair fragrances, you do have a little level of alcohol, but less, much less. So at least, you know, you preserve a bit more the hair and you have this beautiful projection and sillage. But please, let's stop doing this. Like, honestly, I cannot. Next trend that we're gonna stop in 2025. Well, I'm not too sure people are gonna stop because this is very on trend, but for me, that's for sure. I'm gonna try to step back from this. The gourmand fragrances that are not balanced. You know, one of the olfactive family that is the most popular at the moment is gourmand, especially realistic gourmand. I love a realistic gourmand, like a fragrance that smells exactly like the tarte tatin, exactly like your banana sorbet. You know, that's a realistic gourmand. When it smells like something that you can experience, drink or eat in your life, you know, like even like Le Raisin Presaglière did carbonara. Oh my god, but this fragrance is actually really good because it's not straight on carbonara. It's a proper composition. I really like that actually. There is a lot of fragrances that are giving up the fragrance composition and are going too literal. Like, you know, they would put like an accord of tarte tatin, and that's it. That's what you have in the fragrance. Here's your gourmand. And I feel sometimes it kills a little bit the classic construction of fragrances, and I feel the fragrance I love the most has usually a hint of citrus at the start, a little bit of wood at the beginning, and then maybe the gourmand accord is at the heart, you know. I fought with a brand recently. I don't want to have issues, so I'm not gonna say the name, but basically, like, they sent me a lot of straight away gourmand fragrance. Like, one was smelling like tarte tatin, apple pie, French eclair, you know, like au croissant and things. But it was literally, there was no balance at all. The fragrance was just this. It was also a little bit greasy in the texture. It was not nice. Well, that is not a perfume to me. Like, a perfume should be like a composition. If you send me something and I don't like it, I'm gonna tell you, obviously with my beautiful words, and I'm gonna try to be nice, but I'm gonna tell you, you know, I'm sorry, I don't like the fragrance, I didn't feel, you know, it matched my aesthetic or vibe, whatever. Try to be diplomat here, but the person got really angry and started to insult me. So I think it's so unprofessional. But anyway, I've been nice. I have been really nice, but I had to block them because they were starting to get really offensive, telling me that I didn't know what I was talking about. Okay, maybe, I don't know, but it's anyway. Next is about fragrance layering. I am loving my fragrance layering, and usually what I do personally is that I take, and I will explain to you why, is that I take a main fragrance and a secondary fragrance. The main fragrance is what I want to smell like, and the secondary is gonna help to just give a little extra and to push something that is already in the fragrance in there, or maybe help to balance it. A very ambery, resinous kind of fragrance, and then I want to add maybe like a little bit of a gourmand side. So I'll take like a light, delicate gourmand. Usually those kind of fragrances are a little bit cheaper, lighter. You know, I like to do this kind of layering, like the very rich one, and then a little bit cheaper. So I get like a little cloud on it or a little bit on it. It depends. Or it could be like just an oil, a fragrance oil to intensify, you know, like the oud aspect of this fragrance. It depends. The main fragrance will be sprayed here, like that, a bit like a X, like that. Anyway, cha 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 cha. Voila. And I will take my secondary fragrance and I will apply it on pulse point to enhance, not to take over the other fragrance. So one here, maybe here, which is a great pulse point because basically it's the veins are especially active here. It's very warm, so it makes the fragrance blossom. One here behind the neck, so I don't go directly on the neck because it's anti-aging defense. I've seen a lot of people doing fragrance layering by taking one perfume, spraying it here, and then on top would put, like for example, I would take this fragrance and then I would spray it like this, and then they would take another fragrance and spray it at the same space. So the two fragrances are going to melt together and give something else. This is where, for me, I don't really like. I understand the thrill to directly mix the juice together, but I think, like, especially if you have nice perfume, you're breaking a bit the composition. I feel like having such a beautiful fragrance, you don't want to hide it. And I think like it's a bit hiding the smell and creating something new. If you bought that fragrance, I guess you like that fragrance. So for me, usually, I like to use layering to enhance a fragrance, you know, the main fragrance, to give a little bit more personality, match my personality and give something a little bit extra that will make me feel even more unique. But spraying directly the fragrance on top of each other, for me, it doesn't work. It doesn't give the full potential of the two fragrances you're gonna apply, to me, voilà. In 2025, we don't blind buy. That's really easy. I mean, I always say that to you. No matter how much I should say to you, yes, blind buy. Every time I advise you or I do a collaboration with a brand, I would love you to blind buy because I'm gonna get money, but please don't do it. Most of the time, I would prevail, unless you like the game. Lots of you guys like to just blind buy for the thrill, for the game, and then they're gonna sell them after. Or give them to someone else, whatever. But me, by experience, I will tell you to not do it. It's really risky and you might get disappointed. Obviously, I try to give you like an objective point of view on the fragrance I'm describing, giving you the composition, telling you which ingredients smell. But then, if I'm loving the ingredient or not is a subjective point of view. So even if I'm saying this is for me the best fragrance in the world, it might not be for you. Maybe on the paper, but maybe not on your skin. So always try the discovery set, order a sample. Two things that are really just for me as a content creator, things that I don't want to do anymore. This is not something new to 2025. It's really something that I've been doing and since many years, and I will carry on doing in 2025. The first one is separating women and men fragrances. Of course, I would always do like topical video, like for me, design a fragrance for women, design a fragrance for men. I would do topical video like the best fragrance for women, the best compliment for women. You know how it works on YouTube. I would always do that, and I don't want to remove my content from this. But there's many videos now that I do that are not targeted to men and not targeted to women. And this is really open to everyone. In those videos, every fragrance I will talk about, I will let you know if I think the fragrance is more masculine to my nose or more feminine to my nose. It's a stereotype, but I will always let you know because this is things that I still like to know personally. But I will more treat them as unisex. For me, it's so relaxing to sit down and to take just fragrances that I enjoy, give you insight on them, and maybe explain to you, oh, maybe this feels a bit more masculine, maybe this feels a bit more feminine. But the goal here is like I really want people to feel more free about what they're wearing. Don't be scared to go to a woody fragrance. How many fragrances for men I'm wearing and I don't feel more masculine or more, I mean, come on, like look at me, like I don't think, you know, maybe today I'm wearing Bleu de Chanel and you don't know, you know. Like, I really want people to feel more free to try and to smell different things and to not be like stuck in, oh, I'm a woman, I'm gonna smell floral and this is the category of woman, I should aim for this. Yeah, I'm not just gonna talk to men, I'm not just gonna talk to women today, I'm just gonna talk to everyone and I'm gonna give you things that I like. Voila. I hope you understand that, but I think for me it's something that I enjoy doing. I think sometimes it could lead you to maybe get more less views and you know, like I guess it's not as attractive as someone that would say like the panty droppers of the year for men or stuff like this, for sure. But I'm happy with that. I never started social media to be the most popular, to be the, you know, it never came out of this. It came out of me wanted to be free, more free in my work and in my saying, and me loving fragrance since I'm a kid. And that's it. Voilà. So another thing that I will carry on doing is collaboration for collaboration. I've been really disappointed with some, not collaboration, but with some people sometimes that are pushing you to collaborate with them because they think you're a great asset for their account, and then after you never talk to that people anymore, and it was just, you know, very fake, really. Like it was really like just to get the views and put yourself together in front of the camera, and that's it, you know. And I find that so sad. And for example, like in a previous fragrance fair where there's a lot of content creator coming, there was some content creator that was really pushing me, and that made me feel really bad for saying no to come to film video with some content creator, because I just didn't want to, because it feels like a factory. I think I did that a few times when I started, and it was not nice. Content creators are waiting to do the video with the person, so basically like it's like a factory. It's like you do video like a factory, and one after the other. There's no connection. There's no. I have difficulty with that. I am not comfortable with that. Obviously, usually I can't even hide it on my face. I like to build connection. So during a while, I completely stopped to do collaboration because I was petrified of that system. I know this is very smart, and you should do this if you want to succeed. Like, do a lot of collaboration with a famous reviewer, so you get the views, you get the stuff. But it's so not me. Like me, I like to build like some sort of a link before, like you know, like a friendship or something. Recently, what was the collaboration we had on the channel? Chris from Fragmental. He's always been lovely to me, supportive. He's a great guy. That's it, really. Sam and Abby from the channel My World of Fragrance, and Abby from Abby with Love. These are my two besties. I love them so much, and I can only encourage you to check their content because they are amazing. Both of them, very different personality, but amazing. And for example, with them, there will be collaboration coming again with them, because I just have an amazing time and I feel myself. And I love it, you know. It's so nice to feel that you know the person and you can talk about your passion together. Recently, Orchidea, the manager of Jovoy, you might think is a little bit like of an ad because I did a perfume work with Jovoy, but we actually really like each other. I think, you know. And we actually refilmed one video. When I do like a video with her like this, I am not paid, by the way. It's just like we're just coming to meet. We thought of the concept and we just did it, and we are doing another video. It was the same, you know. It's just to me, I really enjoy it. Maybe for them it's great because they kind of like a free advert for their store. After, you know, I've been to Jovoy since I was not even doing videos, so for me it's been talking about this store since forever, so it doesn't change anything for me. So that's what I wanted to say. I just want to stick like this. Maybe it's not always the best move, because then I feel that I could be maybe more thinking more of the health of the channel and do more of these things and maybe be a bit more bankable. But it's just not me, so I cannot do that. I just do the content that I like in the time that I like, and voilà. I hope you don't mind. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video until the end. And if you watched it until the end, actually, you can put the word 2025. Let's take it easy today. And yeah, have a lovely day. See you soon. Bye now.
Viens, je t'emmène dans mon paradis bleu.